Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So I'll make this short and sweet. The Commanders have played 10 games this season. They're 7-3, which is a remarkable start. They have a chance to have the best start that they've had in a season since 1996 if they are to win on Thursday Night Football versus the Philadelphia Eagles, get to 8-3, position themselves for a hell of a stretch run. And that's what I want to talk about. You know, this game on Thursday night is massive. As we all know, I've talked about the ramifications of losing to the Steelers and the kind of importance that it sort of puts on this game on Thursday. But even just taking a step back and looking at the landscape of the schedule that exists in front of the Commanders, they have 7 games remaining, including Thursday night's game. You could argue, and honestly, I don't think it's a real argument, this is the toughest game left on the schedule, okay? It's a road game, tough environment, NFC East, best team in the division right now in the Eagles. It's the one team that we're going to be battling it out for to call ourselves NFC East champions, and they're going to make it tough on us. They bolster a magnificent run game, a quarterback that can be dynamic with his legs, 2 big-time receivers. They hit all the weaknesses of this team currently, and we're going to have to be at our best to combat those and then hurt them on the offensive side or the defensive side, their defense with our offense and all of those things, you know, moving forward. But whatever happens, if the Commanders can win on Thursday night, I don't think they lose another game this season. Hear me out. I just told you I think this Thursday night matchup versus the Eagles is the toughest game remaining on the schedule, right? You get a 10. The biggest thing right now that we're just battling with is health. We're tired, we're battered, we're bruised. So this Thursday night game sucks from the standpoint of it's a quick turnaround for a team that's dealing with a ton of injuries, hasn't had a bye week. On the flip side of that, you get past this game, win or lose, and you would prefer to win it, right? Obviously. But win or lose, those 10 days off, I've talked about this already, going to be huge as you then take on a hapless Cowboys team. They might not win another game this season. We're not losing to Dallas at all unless we get to week 18 on the road at Dallas and don't need that game, okay? That is the only way that the Cowboys beat us this season. And even our backups, I think, are better than their starters at this current juncture. That's just how I feel. So you're going to have 10 days off, which is going to feel like an eternity for a team that hasn't had a break all season long. And you're going to come out of that thing as healthy as we've been in quite some time. You're going to get Marshawn Lattimore back. He's going to make his Commanders debut. I told you this the minute we traded for him. He's not playing until Dallas. No one wanted to hear that, but that was the reality of the situation. You'll start listening to me at some point, okay, when I speak. You'll start listening to me at some point, okay? Not always right, but I'm right more than I'm wrong, and I tell you that all the time. Cornelius Lucas may be back this week. He might be back a week sooner than I thought. I still, until they tell me he's available, I'm still looking at him as being out. But whatever the case may be, we'll be healthy for that little stretch run, those 2 games prior to the bye against Dallas and then Tennessee. You expect to win both of those games. You should be heavy favorites in both of those games, right? Both of them are at home. You come off the bye, and we will be so healthy coming off, assuming health. We're going to assume health, and I don't want to talk too much about health, but assuming health, you come off the bye, and you should be, theoretically speaking, the healthiest you've been all season, theoretically speaking, right? You should feel great. You should feel invigorated. We've complained about this, late bye. We've had it 3 years in a row. We've complained about it, but it really is beneficial if you have a good season. The problem has been we haven't taken advantage of the late bye because we haven't had good seasons. Now, 2022, we had a chance. We went into that bye at 7-5-1, and we didn't come out of that bye and take care of business. But we weren't a good team either. We were fraudulent. And it showed down the stretch, right? This is a good team. And this bye is going to reinvigorate this team and send us down this home stretch with a chance to clean up the entire slate. Clean the plate completely. So you come off the bye at New Orleans. That's a 3-win team. They stink. Go there, take care of business, come out victorious. After that, you have your second matchup with the Eagles. I love us in that game. You know, I absolutely love us in that game. If we can find a way to beat them on Thursday night, we're sweeping the Eagles because they're not coming to Northwest and getting a win. I love us in that game. With Marshawn Lattimore fully in tow, like, I love us in that game. Then after that, you have the Atlanta Falcons. Love us in that game. And then you're at Dallas to finish up. Where do you see the loss? If we get past the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, where's the loss on the schedule? So again, even if you don't get past the Eagles on Thursday night, all is not lost. I could see this team finishing the season at 13-4. Who's stopping us from getting to 13 wins? Worst case scenario, you're 12-5, and then the Eagles got to figure it out. Like, in our minds, we've said, hey, you don't win this game on Thursday night, division's pretty much out of the question. No, it's not. You still got Philadelphia one more time. They still got to play Pittsburgh and Baltimore. They're not out of the woods yet. I've already said this, though. I don't like asking other teams to do our dirty work for us. You don't want to rely on Pittsburgh. You don't want to rely on Baltimore to have to beat the Eagles for us. Beat them yourself. Got a golden opportunity to do that. And I swear to you, if we beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday, as long as 5 is healthy and we stay relatively healthy down the stretch, I don't see anybody else beating us. Especially if Marshawn Lattimore comes in here and is as advertised. And I have no reason to believe that he won't be. We're getting pass rush. The run defense is getting better. His presence will allow you to put an extra defender in the box if need be. If need be. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you tell me what you think. In other news, we heard from DQ again today, and we'll hear from DQ again tomorrow. We heard from Jayden Daniels today as well. We'll talk about what was said by both men at their press conferences. But before we do that, as we always do, let's take a look at the injury report, and we start with the good guys. So this is the exact same injury report from yesterday. There's nothing to report, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. As you can see, no Nick Bellore, no Marshawn Lattimore, no Austin Seibert. Those 3 are going to miss this game, okay? I thought that Cornelius Lucas would be a part of that group. He's been limited the first 2 days. That's a good sign. I'm still not convinced, however, that he is going to be available for us. I already told you, I think Brandon Coleman's your starting left tackle regardless, but it's good to have Cornelius Lucas. Corn Luke is going to be instrumental in the success of this team moving forward, because if we have any more hiccups with Andrew Wiley or anyone else, it's good to know that Cole Luke is ready to step in. So having him available will make me feel a hell of a lot better. And I'm not sure if that'll take place this week or not, but we will see. Everybody else, I already told you, all hands on deck. I expect, including Brian Robinson Jr., I expect everyone else to play in this game until otherwise notified. So nothing here has changed. Everything looks status quo as we get to the ops. They have an injury report that looks just like it did yesterday. Sans for all of these LPs were DMPs yesterday. All of these guys practiced, which means all of them are more likely than not going to play. Don't look for any advantages here. The Eagles are going to come into this thing relatively healthy. They're going to have all hands on deck. And if we're going to beat them, we're going to have to beat them. And I'm fine with that. I don't know if Jordan Mailata, who's had his window activated, will play on Thursday or not. He could still miss this game and then be ready for next week's game against whomever they play next week. But he might play in this game. He might not play in this game. We will see. But whatever the case may be, I don't give a shit if he plays or not, to be honest with you. I'd love to get some of the Fred Johnson. Love to get a piece of him. But if it's Jordan Mailata, bring it on, right? At this point, you know, we going to do what we going to do. They going to do what they going to do, right? So I'm not looking for any advantage with the Eagles. They're going to have a full complement of their guys, and I wouldn't have it any way because I wouldn't hear no excuses if they lose, right? So, because we damn sure ain't making no excuses, and we banged up, and we not going to make no excuses. Either we going to get it done or we not, right? So, DQ stepped to the podium today, talked about, first of all, he was so excited about this opportunity, and as am I, right? You know, I'm having so much fun this season, and I can't speak for any of you, but this has been a joy to watch this team's growth. I told you it would be fun, right? Anytime you got a young upstart team and you're starting from the ground up, it's always fun, especially if you show up to the party early, which we're doing right now. This is fun. You know, I think most of us would have taken 7-3 before the season started. We could be 8-2 right now. We should be 8-2 right now, but we're 7-3. But I think most of us would have taken 7-3 before the season started, going into this game against Philadelphia with first place on the line. But when DQ was like, I told the team that this is a big game because it's an NFC East opponent, not because it's Philadelphia and it's for first place and all of that stuff. The Giants games were big. He made mention of that, like, hey, it's the NFC East opponent. It's a big deal. You want to win this division, you got to win games inside this division. So it's a big deal. And he's like, I'm so glad we're in this position. It beats the alternative of not being in. You know how many years this game we were just begging the team to not embarrass us, or, hey, let's just compete and see what happens. Remember 2022? We weren't expecting to go in there and win. We had just come off of a gut-wrenching loss to the Vikings. It's a very similar spot, to be honest with you. Gut-wrenching loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings, a game that we felt like we should have won. We lost, and instead of riding a 4-game win streak, we had just lost. So we snapped our 3-game win streak. We just snapped the 3-game win streak, and we go into Philadelphia the following week on Monday Night Football, and the expectations weren't as high as they would have been had we beaten Minnesota. And we showed up, we showed out, and we won. But that team wasn't this team. And we expect to win this time. Most of us. I've seen a lot of fans, I don't think we're going to win this. They're already doing the woe is me thing where they're trying to, play both sides of the fence. I don't think we're going to win. The Eagles are going to be able to run the ball on us, this, that. We can't stop their receivers. They're doing that thing. Woe is me, right? Keep that shit away from me, right? We got Marshawn Lattimore. He's not going to play. We didn't have Marshawn Lattimore, 2 weeks ago when we thought we were going to beat the Eagles, and we were talking shit about beating the Eagles then. I'm not changing my tune because we traded for him and he's not available. Benjamin St. Juice was Benjamin St. Juice last week, the week before that, he's the same guy. All right? I'm not changing my tune because he got cooked on Sunday. He's been getting cooked. He's been giving up PIs. At the end of the day, I still think we're good enough to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And DQ feels that way as well. But, you give respect to the Eagles. He talked about, the threats that they pose and all of the different guys that they can, run at you. He talked about Vic Fangio's system and, how they like to disguise their looks, cover 3, cover 4. They change pre-snap, all of that stuff. You got to be ready. Talked about Jalen Hurts and their offense and all of the things that they provide. Talked about Saquon Barkley and, his involvement and how dynamic he is and how he can set you up with leverage. He can, push hard outside and then in an instance, cut back inside, spin. One of his favorite things to do is the spin move. And I love the fact that DQ is ingrained in this division. So he knows, like Saquon, even though he's on a different team, he was in this division and they played against him 2 times a year. So while he's in a different scheme and they utilize him a little bit differently than he was in New York with the Giants, it's still Saquon Barkley. So he can give you the manifesto on how to slow him down, how to, where the position you need to be in. Same with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, different offense, but it hasn't changed. He's still Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown is still A.J. Brown. Smitty is still Smitty. And so I just love the fact that he's got the blueprint already. Now we just got to go out and execute. Do we have the horses to execute is the real question defensively. But they've got all that they need from a mental standpoint. They've seen these guys enough times to know, what they like, what they don't like, how to attack, and go about it that way. So you heard a lot of that from DQ. He said, look, this is the thing I love about this team is we're going to fight. And he said, I wouldn't want to do it with any other group because this group, they're going to be ready to get down on Thursday night and they're going to be honoring, right? They're not happy about how things went on Sunday. And he said if this game was on Wednesday, they would have been ready to roll on Wednesday. That's the kind of group we got in the locker room. That's the kind of men we have ready to go and get after it. So I know we're going to be prepared on Thursday, and we're going to be ready to go in there and rock out. And so, again, I've never been this confident in a team, in an environment like the one we're going into on Thursday. I've never been this confident in a team before, right? And we've had some good teams in the past. The 99 team instilled a ton of confidence in me as a youngin'. The 05 team instilled some confidence in me, but it was never like this. We never had one of them ones at quarterback. We never had a group that played with the level of fight. Like, I've seen good, 2005 defense was really good. The offense wasn't, right? So you knew you had to win it on defense. This defense isn't great, but it's not terrible. Some of you make it out to be. We're top 10 defense in the NFL right now. This is a top 10 defense right now. Whether you like it or don't. This is a top 10 pass defense. We're top 5 pass defense, I think. If not, we're hovering around top 5 pass defense. Okay? Like, yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. Run defense, that's where the issue has been this season. But pass defense, and you can say, oh, you haven't played anybody. We played Joe Burrow. Yeah, he carved us. We played Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray went 22 of 24 for 260, two touchdowns, no interceptions against the Jets. This vaunted Jets defense. 2 incompletions. We shut Kyler Murray down. Russell Wilson has been carving everybody up. That was his 3rd start with the Steelers. He made it look easy the first 2 starts. The man completed 50% of his passes, less than 200 yards. Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns. Gotta give him credit. He also threw an interception. Like, this defense isn't a slouch. I like our chances, and so does DQ. Jayden Daniels talked about, getting ready for this game. Quick turnaround. This is the first time he's had a quick turnaround Thursday night game in the NFL, and you didn't have to worry about this in college either. So this is new for him. There are no Thursday night games in college after you played on a Saturday. Not for SEC schools, at least, right? They always have plenty of time between the game on Saturday and the next game. So this is a brand new experience for him. And he talked about leaning on the veterans, how to take care of his body, things of that nature. He said he feels good. I believe him, by the way. And I think we're getting closer to the point, and DQ said this too. This is something else DQ said. We're getting closer to the point where Jayden can get back to being, because I already told you, I felt like there was a concerted effort, especially on Sunday, and Jayden gave credit to the Steelers defense, and I think that credit is rightfully deserved, about how they played against us and how they took him away as a runner. They played the read option, they rushed 5, they stayed in the rush lanes, but I already had told you guys in advance, they see Lamar twice a year, so they're not going to be fazed by Jayden Daniels and his legs. That's not going to, because you don't get any better than Lamar Jackson. Jayden isn't as good as Lamar Jackson as a runner. And when you've seen the best every year, twice a year, for the last 6, 7 years, Jayden Daniels, he doesn't even register for them. So I already knew the Steelers weren't going to be fazed. However, that ain't what the Eagles got going on. All right? And they ain't seen none. This ain't Trevor Lawrence. This ain't Jameis Winston. This ain't Deshaun Watson. This ain't Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. This ain't the bullshit you've been playing against the last month when you've been able to get your rocks off. This ain't that. You getting a real deal NFL, one of them ones, quarterback coming your way. We're going to see what they do with that. Jayden talked about the receivers and how they've been selfless. Everybody knows Terry, but he's like, these other guys have, stepped up when their number is called. And I know they had a rough go of it this past weekend. A lot of people jumping on them, but y'all got to stop that shit, because these receivers have played well this season. And yeah, look, we all can acknowledge we don't have a number 2 receiver, like a true number 2. Noah Brown is a number 3. I told you, you got to start looking at this roster from a San Francisco 49ers lens, because that is how Chef P is building it, right? Noah Brown is our Jawan Jennings. He'll be back next year. I think they'll sign him to a long-term deal, a 2-3 year deal next year after what he's done here. And I think they're going to use him in a Jawan Jennings type of role. I think they see Ben Sinnott, and some of you are not happy about this. That's fine. You can be disgruntled all you want. But Kyle Juszczyk is an integral piece. It's the reason why he's been paid twice in San Francisco. Not once, twice in San Francisco. He's the highest paid fullback / H-back in NFL history. There's a reason. He's invaluable. That's what they see Ben Sinnott as, I think. All right. If you're looking for Ben Sinnott to be this difference-making tight end, I don't know if they see him as that. Maybe they do, and eventually he'll get his opportunity to be that. But I think they see him as more of an H-back type of guy, a move piece, and they're going to go get another tight end, which is fine, right? I think you have to start looking at this receiving core and look at them for what they are. They're overachieving right now. And we're asking a lot of this group, and they've delivered for the most part this season. And I love what we're getting out of this group. It's a testament to the coaching staff. It's a testament to Jayden and what we've gotten out of them. And we're going to need more. And I thought JP Finley asked a great question. Hey, is it about time for these youngins to start stepping up? Are we ready to take the bubble wrap off of Ben Sinnott as a pass catcher? Are we ready to take the bubble wrap off of Luke McCaffrey as a pass catcher? And, DQ was like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, those guys are ready. When their opportunities come, those guys are ready. And Luke's been open. And I think they've been this close. I think it's only a matter of time. Luke had a big catch and run against the Steelers on Sunday. He had a 23-yard gain. And obviously could have had the biggest play in the game was the miss to Luke out of the end zone. That would have been at a bare minimum a 50-yard gain. Bare minimum. I'm thinking that's more like a 60, 70-yard gain. But whatever, right? Luke's close. It's coming. It could be this Thursday against the Eagles. They're not prepping for Luke McCaffrey. They can get blindsided because their nickel game stinks. So I like our guys inside to have a chance to do some damage in this game. But, Jayden talked about the receivers. He talked about the run game. And he said that he's fine. And DQ said that by design, they weren't trying to run him as much because they got to keep him healthy. And I told y'all, I don't think they tried to run Jayden by design on Sunday because they knew they had a quick turnaround on Thursday. But I think they're about ready to unleash Jayden as a runner again. I think you're going to see some called runs, designed runs. He's going to keep it in the read option game if the Eagles aren't disciplined. I think you're going to see his legs. And the Eagles haven't seen a guy like this all season. The beauty of us playing against the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and go to our first look at the Eagles because this kind of all coincides. The Eagles haven't seen a quarterback in an offense like the one we're going to put on the field this season. On the flip side, we've seen the best mobile quarterbacks the NFL has to offer. We played Lamar already. We played Kyler Murray already. We played Baker Mayfield, and you say what you want. Baker is a slippery mofo. Okay? Baker Mayfield is a slippery mofo, right? We played Watson. I don't even really count him anymore. He's not really that elusive like he used to be. But anybody that you can think of that's extremely mobile, we already played them. So, and we kept them, in the pocket for the most part, neutralized. I have no doubts in my mind we can keep Caleb Williams as well. He was slippery as hell. And he got out and he hurt us a couple of times, but there was also pressure on his ass. And Hurts is not quick. He's not quick like Caleb is in terms of his movements. But if you give him a seam, he'll take it and he'll go much faster than slow. But I think we can build a wall and we can make him uncomfortable. Because we did it to Kyler Murray. We kept Lamar in the pocket for the most part, sacked him a couple of times, right? And we had a chance to sack Baker Mayfield 5 or 6 times. We just couldn't get him down. But this is a totally different defense than the one we saw in week 1. So I like that. So you heard Jayden kind of talk about, him being available in the run game and the Steelers took that away. But I think you're going to start to see him become a threat in the run game again here shortly. And they asked him about Brian Robinson Jr., And the 2 games that Jayden didn't rush the ball well against the Steelers and the Ravens, coincidentally enough, and maybe this is not a coincidence, Brian Robinson Jr. was not active in those games and did not play. And, I think both of those teams are just really good at stopping mobile quarterbacks because the Ravens have one in their own building, and not that they practice. I think that's I think that's a false narrative there. Oh, they practice against Lamar. The first team offense and defense don't go against each other very often in practice. So that's a misnomer. But they know what to do, right? Having that guy in the building, they know how to try to defend a mobile quarterback. And then the Steelers, they go against Lamar Jackson twice a year. So there's that. But I do think there's something to B-Rob being in the lineup and what he brings to the table and how he can change things. And I do think that's a real thing, right? And Jayden was like, got to give some credit to those defenses, but, maybe there is something to that. Maybe there isn't. At the end of the day, I think we all feel like an offense with Brian Robinson Jr. is an offense that's a lot tougher to stop. I think we all feel that way about this team. He talked about this being his first, road environment in Philadelphia. He's heard a lot about their crowd. He's not going to be fazed by that, though. I mean, this is a guy that played in the SEC in front of hundreds of thousands of fans. Those college stadiums hold over 100,000 fans. You go to, obviously he was at LSU, but you go on the road to Ole Miss, you go on the road to Alabama. Like, what are we talking about, right? Like, he's seen these environments before. You go to a place like Missouri where he had one of his best collegiate games when he got hurt and gutted through and led them to a comeback victory. You're probably talking about 80,000 fans at Mizzou Stadium. Like, this is nothing, right? These NFL stadiums pale in comparison, but he's looking forward to the challenge. But we've been really good on the road. You could argue that we've been sharper offensively on the road than we have been at home. So, we'll see what the environment is like and how they handle it. He also talked about the offensive line. He said that, all the credit goes to O-line Bobby Johnson and the job he's done with this group, getting them prepared. No matter who's up there, guys have been shuffled in and out here of late, and, they've still gotten the job done. And, he talked about his preparation and being prepared and, looking forward to the challenge of Philadelphia. He's like, we're not putting any extra undue pressure on ourselves. It's an NFC East game. We know that we need to have it if we, want to win this division. But as far as first place being on the line and wild card this and that's not at the forefront of their minds. They're not thinking about any of that stuff because at the end of the day, you control what you can control, right? And you can control going out to Philadelphia, putting forth your best effort and seeing where that leaves you when it's all said and done. He talked about the relationship he and Cliff have. It was brought up that a couple of teams have fired their coordinators, and coincidentally enough, those two teams that have fired their offensive coordinators here recently in the Vegas Raiders and Chicago Bears both interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for their offensive coordinator jobs, and he ended up in Washington. And so they asked him, the relationship between he and Cliff, and he's like, there's an understanding. Cliff is very open to suggestions. He asked me what I think about this. I'm able to tell him, Cliff, I don't like this. Other players are able to go to him and say, hey, this is what they're doing to me. This is what I think will work. And he's receptive to all of that. That was something that we haven't seen here in quite some time. You had Scott Turner, who was fixated on his scheme and his scheme alone, and he wasn't changing for anyone. Same thing could be said for Eric Bieniemy. He didn't care about stats. Remember, he didn't give a shit that Terry McLaurin was the best player. Forget about him getting targets. We're going to throw the ball to Logan Thomas 80 million times because that's what the offense calls for. Well, you don't have Travis Kelce here, dude, right? And so Cliff is all about trying to get, the best players in positions to make plays, and that's refreshing. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of, stuff that we're on essentially. So I like this matchup against the Eagles. It's gonna be fun. I'm so looking forward to this. It hasn't been very often. This is all I wanted. Like at its core, like just strip everything down and to the bare essentials. What have I asked you guys? Like, what have I begged for? I said, I just want to be good. I just want to start a season 7-2, 7-3, 8-2, 8-3. I just want to start a season good. and be one of the best teams in the league and play a big matchup like this on a primetime stage and have everybody talking about how good we are and not how bad of an organization we are, how much of a dumpster fire we are, and not talking about us as if we're some charity case, but talking about us with a level of reverence. And I just want to be good to start a season. I'm tired of having to backdoor our way into the postseason. I'm tired of having to win 5 out of our final 6 or 5 straight to get in as a wild card. I want to be good at the beginning of the season, not late. I want to be good late because, it's not necessarily how you start. Ask the Eagles from last season, 2023, about not how you start, it's how you finish, right? However, I want to start good and then finish even better. And we've done that. We've started good. The first half of that equation, we started good. Now we're on the back end. Now let's finish even better. And it starts on Thursday. And I like this matchup because the Eagles defensively haven't seen anybody like us this season. And the only thing I hate is that they've been able to build up confidence over this 4-game stretch of playing nobodies. I love how they try to diminish what we've done this season, but their schedule has been worse than ours because they haven't played the Steelers. They haven't played the Ravens. They haven't played the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't played the Bears. And I know the Bears aren't playing good football now, but they haven't played any good teams here in the last month. They've played the little sisters of the poor, and they've gotten fat off of bad teams with the exception of Cincinnati. That was the one win that they've had in the last month that I respected. And they didn't get T. Higgins. They got off the hook in that game. T. Higgins got hurt in the day before the damn game or 2 days before the game. And they got off the hook because I would have loved to have seen them have their full complement of receivers in that game against the Eagles. But they took advantage of that. That's not their fault. They can't control that. But outside of Cincinnati, they haven't played a single opponent. First of all, none of the teams they've played have had a winning record, not even remotely close to one. Not Cleveland, not Dallas, not Jacksonville, not Cincinnati, okay? None of them. So this whole narrative of who have you played and this, that, and third, they ain't played nobody. And they've built their confidence. It feels like a house of cards. They've built their confidence off of garbage teams. And still, a lot of those garbage teams have pushed them to the limit. In the case of Cleveland and Jacksonville, they ain't seen nobody like this in quite some time, since Tampa Bay. You got to go back to before their bye week, the last time they played a credible opponent. And they ain't played a mobile quarterback this season like Jayden Daniels. So this is going to be a fun matchup, one that I am looking forward to. I'm stoked for this. And no matter what happens, I expect a win. I fully expect to go into the link and come out victorious. Whatever happens, I'm not down on the squad because I don't think we're losing another game after this. If we do lose this game, whatever happens, if we win this game, we're going to finish this season off 14-3 unless we're resting our starters in week 18 and the Cowboys starters somehow get our backups. I gave you the schedule. I told you what it looks like. I assure you the Eagles aren't coming to Northwest as long as we're healthy. They're not coming to Northwest and coming out of there with a dub. So if they don't get this one on Thursday night, they're getting swept. I'm getting the broom. We sweeping the whole division. We went from 0-6, and I want this perfect symmetry of 0-6. They laughed at us last year and said, you didn't win a whole game in the division. Don't talk to me. We turning it on its head, and we flipping this script, and we going 6-0, and we ain't never done that in franchise history. It's a lot of shit that has never been done in franchise history. We doing that shit this year. Let us win on Thursday night. Now, if we win on Thursday night, I want all 6 of the division games. All 6 of them. I like our chances. I'll tell you right now, and this will be the last thing I'll say, and then we'll get out of here. The one thing that concerns me about this Eagles team is not their receivers. I know what they are. I know what they're capable of. I think we can get to Hurts and fluster him enough. We know he's a turnover machine. Had another 2 turnovers on Sunday. It's what he does. He turns the ball over. I think we're going to get at least one up off of him. And we know what those receivers are, and we know the problems that they pose, and we know Dallas Goedert can be a problem. We know all of that stuff. The thing that scares me the most is Saquon Barkley in the run game. That's what scares me the most. And if we can neutralize him, limit him, and not allow him to gash us, I think we win this game. If he's able to get off, he will take so much pressure off of Jalen Hurts, allow him to be super efficient, not have to go outside of the game plan, and allow him to just kind of take what we're giving him, and they'll be able to be comfortable. I want them to be uncomfortable, because we've seen when the Eagles are comfortable, they're hard to beat. When they're uncomfortable, they're a shell of themselves. They panic when they're not comfortable. They're not the same team. We've shown the ability to find a way to be comfortable even when we're uncomfortable. They haven't had to show that this season. And when they've been uncomfortable, they've looked awful. I want to make them uncomfortable on Thursday. The only way you're going to do that is by stopping Saquon Barkley. If he gets off, they're in their comfort zone, we're in a lot of trouble. And we're going to have, at that point, you're going to have to outscore them. We're going to have to rev up that offensive engine. We ain't had to rev it up since about week 7, right? We ain't had to rev it up. But if we can't stop Saquon, we're going to have to rev that bitch up. All the RPMs we got. We are able to slow him down. We ain't got to rev the engine up all the way offensively, because they're going to slow down offensively, and we can then dictate the pace of this game. I also heard there may be some inclement weather with this game. I'm not sure. I heard that the weather forecast might not be cooperative. I can't confirm nor deny that. I haven't done my homework. Somebody told me that. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see, right? We'll see what Thursday brings. But that's our first look at the Philadelphia Eagles and the matchup on Thursday Night Football. Bart Scott, can't wait. Speaking of can't wait, hopefully you'll be joining myself and the rest of the NFC East Super Friends, as we'll be live tonight, 8 p.m. on the NFC East Super Friends channel. Law will be joining us. The original four horsemen ride tonight. Should be a lot of fun. And then Wednesday night at 8 p.m. over on the NFC East Super Friends channel, L.B. and myself lock horns one-on-one talking about this matchup. You definitely do not want to miss that. So a lot going on that channel, a lot going on this channel. We will be live tomorrow night after that one-on-one with me and L.B. over in the NFC East Super Friends channel. We will be live here for Commanders Nightly News live, and we'll be really going in extreme depth to this matchup on Thursday Night Football versus the Eagles. Behind enemy lines, all that good stuff. Your comments, we'll get into all of that tomorrow night. And then if you're a mob member, later on tonight, we will dive into the film session from Sunday's loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a painful one, but one that we have to go over to turn the page. So we will turn that page tonight, go through the film, and then it's all Eagles. Tomorrow, it is all Eagles. We're done with the Steelers talk. So hopefully you'll join me for all of that. But until then, I'm your man Louie T signing off. I'll be able to shed this nasty black tomorrow. Ugh, I just feel gross. Look, this may be the last time I have to wear it this year, to be honest with you. Like, in all sincerity, this year, when I say this year, I'm talking about, into December, into January. This could be the last time I have to wear black this season. They'll determine that. Thursday night will go a long way in determining that. I'll just say that. We're in a pretty good position for me to not have to don this disgusting black the rest of the season. We'll see. Thursday is going to be a huge step in that direction, but I'm your man Louie T signing off until next time. You guys have a good one. Take care. See you next time.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's got